On paper where the story's told, facts and truth, the legend grows. Lion hearts here with fire to spit. It's on paper with Anthony Smith.
With Anthony Smith.
Welcome back to the On Paper podcast, presented by Black Buffalo. I'm Anthony Smith. That is Kelly. And I think this might be her last show. I think we're paying her too much here because now she's decided to do her side of the show remotely from goddamn Spain. So either Kelly's getting a pay cut or we're gonna have to find someone else. Because I didn't know that we were just doing shit from Spain now. You're just traveling the world. What are you doing?
Listen, you keep making all these jokes and I'll counter with find a more dedicated employee. Any other producer of yours would have been like, I'm going to Europe for the week. Find somebody else to do the, help book guests. I was on my phone yesterday booking guests. Here I am.
Look at you.
I'm going to edit this podcast.
Working hard.
I'm working hard. I bought myself a Fendi bag this morning.
A Fendi bag. A real Fendi bag. How much was it?
Again,
See, I'm telling you guys, we're paying her too much. She's buying Fendi bags. She's doing the show from Spain. Oh,
listen,
she might not be here long. She's
might as well do the show with a view. And my internet is better here than it is at my house.
How much was this Fendi bag?
It was not good. It was a bad situation.
Okay. Why are you in Spain?
I have a wedding. One of my best friends from college is getting married. So we've got a group of us here. We came a few days early to make a vacation out of it. We'll go to Portugal after for a few days and then get my ass back to Long Island.
When's this wedding?
The wedding's Wednesday.
What? Wednesday? Who gets married on a Wednesday?
In Spain, time is just a concept.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. When you're in Spain, it doesn't really matter what day it is.
No, it doesn't. We went out to a club last night, Sunday, open till 7 a.m. We laughed. We were like, we'll never stay out till 7. And then we all looked at each other around 4. We were like, we're still
might as well close it down.
Might as well shut it down.
Did you shut it down at 7 in the morning?
No, we called it a night. We were home by 4:30, I would say.
You say that like it's an early night.
We're gonna play it simple tonight.
Okay.
I did wake up at 2 p.m. today.
You woke up at 2 p.m.
Because we didn't go to bed till 6.
Yeah, I guess that checks out. How's the food?
It's actually really good. It's all just tapas. Like, I feel like I'm turning into a cheese plate. But it's been great.
Okay, well, I'm going to need a magnet because anytime any of my friends go anywhere, they always bring a magnet back.
You got it.
So I need a Spain magnet. You have to ship that to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
What's
I'm
going
glad
on
you're
with
enjoying
you?
yourself.
Out in the Midwest.
Just lots of cheese plates and
parties.
No, I've had
a
rough week. Okay. I say rough. It could be worse. My little doggo down here, he's sleeping right now because he got his painkillers. But I don't know if I've talked about this before, but he had a trigeminal nerve injury like maybe a year ago, maybe a little less, but he fell down the last 2 stairs because he's clumsy. He's like a clumsy ass French bulldog. And he rolled like down the last 2 stairs and he like kinked his neck. And so he had like some, like slip disc type of symptoms.
Sure.
And it's just been a waterfall of problems since then. His head is all sunk in right here, like down to the bone, because that's just the nerve damage and from all the steroids. So that's permanent. So it kind of looks funny. And then he started having this like swallowing, eating problem where he was like constantly like regurgitating and puking. And then we realized that he hadn't drank any water since June 6th.
When did you realize this?
Not until like probably the 10th. Because we have another dog. So we're still refilling the water bowl. Like it just, like who watches their dog drink water every single time?
But you also probably don't even clock it, even if you didn't have to refill it. Like,
right.
That's not something you think about.
Yeah, we're just not paying attention. So we're still refilling the water, like it's because the other dog's drinking. But so then we started paying attention, like after a couple of days, like I don't think he's drinking. He's like starting to look skinny and dehydrated. So then we took him in, he got an IV, and they started doing all these checkups. Well, anyways, long story short, he's got this thing where he's having a hard time. The nerve damage was making it hard for him to swallow. And then now he can't open his mouth. Like he can open it a little bit, like just a tiny bit he can open his mouth. which is another just symptom from the nerve stuff that we didn't catch fast enough. It can be reversed, but you have to catch it like right away, and we didn't. It's hard to tell, you know. It's not like he's a big barky dog. He doesn't like chew on a bunch of things. He's not like, you know, there's like a small little, you know, little lazy dog. But
Yeah.
so now he
French
can't open his
bulldog,
mouth.
right?
Yeah, he's a Frenchie. So now he can't open his mouth at all. He can open it just enough that we could hand feed him, and we could until we could get into this like specialized doctor or vet. I say doctor, vet, whatever. And so we were like hand feeding him through the little tiny amount that he could open his mouth, but he can't drink water because his throat doesn't work right with like the nerves that control the swallowing motion don't work right. So when we would put food in his mouth, like they've been on a raw food diet for a long time. So he just has to lift his head up as far as he can and like use gravity to like get the food to go down.
Ugh.
But he can't bend down and drink because he can't open his mouth and his tongue doesn't come out. So every 2 days I was doing sub-Q fluid. So it's like an IV essentially that creates a little bolus. So it's like goes in the back of his neck. I stick the needle in, hold it, and then hold like a whole liter of fluid above, and I squeeze it. And then he has this big, it looks like a camel kind of with the hump on his back. So because just like fluids, they're just under his skin. And then those fluids soak, like they absorb into his body. And that's how he was since like June 10th. That's how he'd been getting fluids. So, and then I would feed him ice cubes like throughout the day because he could just get ice cubes in his mouth and he'd chew on them to keep his mouth wet. So then we got him in, and now he has a feeding tube. So it was kind of something I wasn't sure if we were going to do, but it was that or put him down. So
How old is he?
5.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So because they couldn't do it, like it's a pretty big surgery. So they couldn't do a normal like tube intubation that goes down his throat because his mouth doesn't open. So they actually had to go in and do a trachea. So they had to cut his throat open, do a tracheal tube. Then once they had him sedated there safely, then I don't know if anybody knows or even cares, but like I had no idea how feeding tubes work. They actually cut his stomach open in the middle, sewed his stomach to the side of his body. Like they sew his stomach to the inside of his like his body cavity, like the sidewall of your ribs, so that your stomach isn't like free moving and floating inside of his body.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of poke a hole through like the back, like the bottom part, kind of like in front of his rear legs into his stomach, create that little hole, put a little button in there. It's actually pretty fucking easy though. Like now that I got the system down, it's a regular human feeding tube with a regular button on the outside. So now all of his foods are liquid. I feed him 3 times a day. Just draw that shit up and just hook it up, clean it, and yeah.
Is that permanent?
Permanent? Yeah, probably.
Jeez.
Yeah, if the medicine doesn't reverse the issue with his mouth not opening, yeah, it'd be like that forever. But it's
Did
really
they tell
not.
you the likelihood or anything, or that was the
Yeah,
part
it's
where
like
you said is reversible if you find it
no,
early?
it's like 80% that this is how it is forever. But it's actually really not. I mean, you think about it. If you feed your dogs twice a day, you know, you let them out, you get the food, they feed it, like it's about the same amount. Maybe it's a little bit longer. I probably, even with his meds right now, that is only going to be like another week. I spend 25 minutes a day feeding him. It's really not that big of a deal. It's the feeding itself is fast. I hook the tube up to him. I draw the medicine up in a big syringe. I push it in, and I fill the syringe again, hook it up, push it again, and then clean it, and it's done. And I can do the whole thing in 5 minutes. So, but it's, you know, he was really struggling. When I was really a bit regretful actually when they brought him in, because it's just me. I took him in, and when I picked him up the next day, he came in and he looked like he had been in a fucking car accident. Half his body shaved. He's got this huge thing on his neck because they can't close the front part of the neck. Like they sew the trachea back closed, but they have to leave the skin open a little bit because when they sew the trachea closed, it's not like airtight. So as it's healing, a little bit of air will leak out. Well, they can't have it leaking into his, like under the skin. So it's got to be able to escape. And so those two things will heal at the same time. But so he's got this huge like scarf around his neck. And then he's got his whole belly is shaved, and he's got this huge, huge cut all the way up his entire stomach. I was like, oh no, what the fuck did we do?
Sure.
Because he was walking sideways. He was super drugged.
You're like, is he suffering more?
Yeah, like I couldn't get him. He wouldn't stand up. He wouldn't walk. He fucking stank because like you messing with his stomach and his insides and doing the surgery. Like he was, just shitting on himself. Like I was like, oh no, what the fuck did we do? Like, did we go too far? Like trying to save this dog?
Right.
But now, like the last couple of days, this dude's just been he's just regular. I took him to the farm with us yesterday and he was just rolling around like,
oh, good.
Just kicking it. Like he's pretty much back to normal. A little bit. He's getting used to the food.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a baby, to be honest. It's kind of funny. Like because he's still on some painkillers, I'll give him his meds and I'll feed him. So he's kind of like you feed a baby and then they're like in a food coma and they just go to sleep. So now we're like just trying to figure out how much to feed him and whatever. But yeah, he's like super. Yeah, he's back to like his old self. Like he's fairly.
On the up and up.
He's on the up and up. I'm like the last few days I've been like, okay, I didn't fuck this up. Like he's happy.
Sigh of relief.
Yeah, I'm super relieved. He's super happy. He's in no pain. He lets me mess with his little feeding tube, like the button on the outside. You got to spin it a couple times a day to make sure like it doesn't get grown into that place, so it's still able to move. He lets me clean it. He's like, doesn't seem like he's in a shit ton of pain. Yeah, I just got to keep now I have to keep his activity down because I can't have him running around and like he needs 2 weeks of healing and then he can be a normal fucking dog. But he wants to play with the kids. He wants to jump on the couch and be all fucking crazy.
Well, so you've got another dog too, right? They're kind of
so they want to play. Yeah, they want to play
together all the time.
Yeah, they want to play together. So like that's why he's in here with me in the office and the other dog is out with the kids. Like just let him hang out. But yeah, I feel really good about it now. I was a bit uncomfortable and nervous about it when it first happened. Like,
absolutely.
I don't know, maybe we did too much, but yeah, he's totally back to his old self. So did that. I went golfing yesterday.
Fun. How was that?
It was good. Had a good time. I'm really figuring this golfing thing out a little bit. So that's good. And I'm going to Mexico on Friday.
See, it's not just me. We're taking this podcast worldwide, baby.
I know it because we're gonna have to do it I'm gonna have to do it from Mexico on Monday because there's no way we can miss an opportunity. We can't miss an opportunity to talk about Dustin Poirier and whatever happens on Saturday.
Well, we're clearly dumbasses. We picked some bad times to travel because when I looked ahead at the schedule, I was like, okay, what week am I not going to be here? Maybe it's a week we take off or whatever it may be. I was like, oh, it'll going right into Dustin Poirier's final fight. And then you said you were going away. And I was like, when are you going away? The week after Dustin's fight? I guess during the fight and just after. So I was like, we're stupid. And those are 2 weeks.
And then I have surgery. Yeah, and then I have surgery the day after I get back. So the next episode I do will be in Mexico. The one after that I'll be in a neck brace. We're going to be all fucked up. Yeah, it's going to be good.
We've got a lot of ailments in the Smith household.
Yeah,
a lot of procedures.
It's fine. You know what? We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to get around this. We'll be just fine.
Speaking of Dustin Poirier's final fight, we're about to bring on Din Thomas, who very quickly becoming a show regular. It's like you guys get booted from Sirius. We just bring him on here. And Yves Edwards. We haven't had Yves Edwards on yet. And really, who better to talk about Dustin than Yves?
Oh, I love both of those guys. I don't think Yves Edwards is utilized enough in the media on the media side. I think he had an incredible journey. He put a lot of work in. He gets a lot of respect from the fighters and everyone involved in the sport. And so, if we can give him a platform and a little more opportunity to really show who he is and his mind for the sport, he's an incredible coach. I want to do that. I think that somewhere in the world there's a place for Yves Edwards to have a platform so people can hear his voice.
Me and Dean
have talked about that a bunch too. We got to get Yves. We got to get people hearing him. We got to get people hearing him.
When I was producing for Jimmy Smith, we brought him on every Friday before the pay-per-views. We called his spot Pay-Per-View Yves, the creative genius behind the title.
I love that.
We brought him on every Friday to break down the pay-per-view. And like you said, he just has a really brilliant fight mind, and he's been around for so long. And most importantly, I think we're going to debunk an MMA myth. I'm not sure a lot of people have seen Dean and Yves together in the same room. They get confused for each other quite a bit.
I've never seen them in the same room together, and I'm half expecting that only one of them is going to show up.
All right, ahead of UFC 318, Dustin Poirier's final fight, we bring in two of the best, Din Thomas and Yves Edwards. Dean, we see you quite often, so let's start with Yves. Yves, how the hell are you?
I am doing fine, man. I'm doing great. I'm back in Houston. It's hot as hell here, and I get to talk to my boy DT. So what's up?
Same place.
Yeah, what's going on, Dean?
Same time, same place, baby. You don't often see me and Eve at the same place at the same time. People thought we was the same person. So
The same person, man. I had to let my hair grow out just so people would stop calling me Dean Thomas.
Hey, when did I think a lot I've been curious about this myself, but when did you guys like connect your friendship and the relationship that you guys have? When did that happen and how?
Man, so we knew of each other before we met a couple of times. We scheduled a fight once, and then when I joined American Top Team, like I was still like, oh man, I was a Dean Thomas fan, and kind of a hater because he was the guy that I was like, when we started, man, Dean was ahead of me by a lot, and I was trying to catch up. So like I was a little bit of a hater too until I joined American Top Team, and then he was like, hey man, your ex-girlfriend called me, and she was trying to tell me how to beat you in a fight. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's got my back. So, yeah.
when was that? I mean, that had to have been like 2003?
3, yeah.
2003?
2003.
Yeah,
We
2000.
Just so you
scheduled a
guys
fight.
know, I was a freshman in high school in 2003.
Yeah, but I mean,
Which is-
but honestly, so
that's
me
crazy.
and Eve came up at this. I was a little bit ahead of him. I just got opportunities before him, and but I had known about Eve for long. I mean, it's about as much as you can know of a person without social media and the technology that we have today. But I had known about him, just kind of keeping my eye on this little jitterbug. This other black dude out there, like running, tracking me down. I was like, I gotta keep my eye on this guy. This guy, he kicks too good.
Oh, I love that. All right, so I wanted to bring you guys on because since I've started this podcast, I really just it sounds kind of selfish and weird, but I'm not really concerned a lot with what people maybe want to listen to or what you see in the comments. And I just want to have cool conversations with people that I respect and coming off of a fight weekend and going into such an important fight weekend. I just wanted to get you guys on. You guys got great minds for the sport. You're incredible coaches. So before we get into the New Orleans and the storylines and everything that goes along with that, and I think how important I think that weekend is just for MMA as a whole. Last weekend we had just this last weekend we had Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Bonfim, and then in the main event was Derrick Lewis versus if you ask Derrick, it was against a Brazilian taxi cab driver. But I've seen like this trend where we're seeing some of the older guys, myself included, getting put against these young stud up and comers, and I think the Poirier fight's a little bit of an anomaly because you got two guys that are kind of in the same place in their career or same age, same amount of miles, same journey for the most part. But I feel like we keep seeing the Wonder Boys versus Bonfims and me versus the guy from China. And like, there's a part of me that feels like we're being weeded out a little bit, but I did feel like Stephen Thompson did kind of the OGs, a favor. Like I felt like he looked pretty good in that fight. What do you guys think, just kind of watching the fight generally, and kind of what do you guys feel about kind of the matchmaking that we're seeing lately?
Man, I'm gonna talk about the matchmaking, and then I'm gonna hand it off to Dean Thomas for the fight because I didn't get the opportunity to sit down and watch the fights this weekend. I have a 5-year-old, and she had some parties that I had to attend.
Yeah, that's work.
I haven't watched the fights just yet. But as far as you say, the older guys and they bring in these younger guys. I've seen that time and time again, and it's weird because at times. It's upsetting, because it feels like a setup at times. This young phenom is coming in, and they're bringing in this older guy who's not what he used to be, and they're trying to put this changing of the guard in front of the fans and let you see this legend get taken out by this young up and comer. And I hate when that happens. And I was so happy when they tried to do that with Frankie Edgar and Yair. And Frankie shut that show down. but I've seen it too many times where it has happened, and it sucks because I've been the young guy coming up, and I've been the old guy going out, and just I feel like you should just these guys who put so much into the sport, done so much for the company, done so much for the sport itself. I feel like you should like honor them on their way out, man. Don't feed them to the wolves when they've got a limp. That's kind of cruel in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Before you get into I have a follow up before Dean gets into the match. Is there do you think, okay, so maybe I'm only noticing it because it happened to me, because I was in the same position. I was the young, hungry guy that was coming up, and then I got Rashad, and then I got Shogun, and I got, Vulcan kind of on his way down. I got Gustafson kind of on his way out. So I definitely benefited from it, and I never thought about it like that while it was happening. I didn't realize, okay, they're using those guys as names and maybe their accolades to try to build me as I'm working towards the title fight. I never thought about it like that. I was like, man, I'm just beating these legends. I think I'm a badass. And now and then, on my way out, I get Rakic and the guy from China, and I get, Khalil, and like, I'm the old guy that maybe has a little bit of a limp. I'm not I wasn't anywhere close to what I used to be, but there was a part of me, like, I still have some good fights in me if the matches are right. Like, if there are guys that are in my similar position, my similar age, similar miles, there could still be, like, there's still a few really good fights I could have that would really be entertaining. But is that just how the circle of life is? Like, is that just us complaining about it because it happened to us, or is that just the circle of life of sports and we just don't like it?
I don't think that's the circle. I think that is one of the circles. I think there are a few circles of life in the sport, right? And there are guys who've built their name without having to take out any of the legends. You build your like let's go with what's the Sean O'Malley, right? O'Malley's
Yeah.
built a name for himself. He's got a brand. He's somebody that people will pay to come and watch fight. I can't think of any legends on his hit list, any legends on his wall. You know what I mean? So it can be done.
Oh.
It can definitely be done. But I think it's just a quicker way to do it, a shortcut way to do it. And I think for the guys who've put in the time, who've done what they've done for the sport and within the organization, I think, man, you don't necessarily have to or shouldn't put those guys like on the chopping block like that against the killer. I mean, there, like you said, there are some good fights out there for some guys on the tail end of their career, and let them go out like that. And you've seen it happen also. You saw Robbie Lawler and Nico. I think that was a great final fight for Robbie. Um, um, I mean, I think it happens both ways, man. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the way you talk to or how you've had conversations with certain people over the course of your career on the way they line you up towards the end of it.
So I'm gonna make
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm
Dean,
going to
what do
make
you
a little
got?
point on this as I get into the fight because it's important, because my point relates to the fight itself. And that is, I think they do that partially on purpose to the older guy because they don't want you saying, I still got something left. I can still do this. They want you to know that you don't belong in there anymore because they're going to say, here, we gave you an opponent and you got your ass kicked. So I think it's a direct attack on the older fighter to let you know that this ain't for you anymore. So that brings me to my point with the fight itself this past weekend with Wonderboy and Bonfim. Wonderboy, in my opinion, won that fight. I thought he won the fight. And despite not having the same moves that he used to have 5 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, he still looked pretty good. He still was able to get off at times, stay out of danger a lot of times, and do a lot of work. And if the plan was to get him beat up, it didn't work. It didn't work. I thought Wonderboy looked pretty good despite being 42 years old. He would have looked good being 38 years old. So I thought that whether the plan was to get him beat up and sent out on a stretcher, that didn't work. I thought he won the fight, but still, Rolly Delgado once told me, when we're coming down, those young kids do to us what we did to them on their way up. And that's essentially what happens. Wonderboy looked great on Saturday night. lost the fight by split decision, but I still thought he looked great. But I have a feeling that they're probably going to give him his walking papers, despite still looking pretty good.
Yeah, probably. And that's kind of the vibe that I got from Wonderboy before the fight when we worked together in Atlanta, that maybe his job was a bit on the line moving into this, which from a business sense, at times I do understand it. Like when we work the problem is we work our way to where we're finally making some decent real money.
Yep.
And then, maybe you make it to a title shot, maybe you don't, but then on your way down, now they have to find a return on that investment because now you're paid as fuck and they need to justify, okay, well, if we're going to pay him this much, then we need to build up. That's how I felt with the Zhang Min Yang thing. I'm paid really well. Well, now they need to justify, because if I'm just beating up guys that don't matter and that they don't really care about, or in fights that they don't really care that much about, then they're not really getting a return on that. But if they can build a guy, because now look, I fought Khalil, he ended up in a title fight in his next fight. I fought Zhang Min Yang, he beats me, and now he's in a main event versus Johnny Walker. Like, there's got to be some sort of return. He can't get into a main event until he beats a guy like me. So from a business sense, just in a way to tie it to myself so it makes sense, like that, I understand that part of it. But I think we have a Go ahead.
I hear you, Anthony, but I'm a cynic, and I've always been fighter first, and I'm like, man, they made that money back off of your prime. That money's been made. That money's been in the bank for a couple of years.
Yeah, but you know what? Greed, man. Greed. They got to get more out. They got to squeeze you for every drop of blood you had.
Yeah, that's.
And they don't want you to leave with nothing.
He hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, they don't want you to leave with nothing.
No.
Now, here's another anomaly. And Yves, I'll start with you first. Derrick Lewis, and even though you didn't watch the fight, it doesn't really matter for the most part.
I know what happened.
Yeah, you know what happened, right?
Cab driver.
Yeah, so I think Derrick Lewis is kind of there's a weird, really hard thing that's going on right now that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to, because Derrick Lewis is such a character, and he actually draws a lot of the attention away from a lot of the good things that he does with his real funny personality, which I appreciate. I love his personality. I love his interviews. He's a really funny guy, and he's fun to be around. He's actually really quiet. If you guys have hung out around him, he doesn't say a whole lot. Like, I love Derrick, but for him to find himself in a title fight versus DC kind of on short notice, and then kind of struggle a little bit, he win a couple, lose one, then he lose two, and he win a couple, and he's kind of just up and down. But he's kind of finding himself in a position where he's on a little bit of a roll later on in his career after he's already had some, like we've seen Derrick, for lack of a better term, I've seen Derrick look for the door while he's in there. Like he's at times he's had a little bit of quit in him, and whether that's where he's at in his life, because as we all know, like personal circumstances can really change a lot of the things that are going on in the octagon, no matter how ready you are. But we've seen him not do Derrick Lewis type of things in there. So now I feel like he's in this position where he's slowly, like, it's so hard to work your way back to a title fight twice. I guess that's the point. And he's getting really goddamn close. And I don't know what's changed or what makes him so different. And I don't know, I guess you guys would probably have a better insight to it than I would. I just don't, he doesn't make any sense to me. It's so weird.
Well, I'm going to use a term that Laura Sanko uses all the time, and she talks about vaporizing power. When you have the power to vaporize your opponent. And in a way, he's kind of doing what Ilia Topuria has done. And that's just knock guys out really quick before you get a chance to really get him in a fight, right? Like he just goes out there and knocks you out before the fight actually even happens. And for him to be in a position of a title shot is mind-blowing to me, but that speaks more on the division than actually him itself. Because I'll say this, and I don't want this to sound bad about Derrick Lewis, because I love what he's done for his career and what he's done in life, but no one in MMA has been more successful with less. No one. I can't think of a person.
Yeah.
I mean, like training for him is like, yeah, I ran 3 miles. It's like, dude, like, could you imagine if a bantamweight said that? Go ahead, Eve. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, over the entirety of his camp, right? He ran 3 miles for the entire camp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the heavyweight division, though, right? I think that's the big debate, the elephant in the room that we're kind of ignoring. the heavyweight division is just, it's never been deep. Like, there's not that many human beings that big. And the ones who are athletic and that big, they're in other sports for the most part. The most elite of those athletes, right?
Yeah, they're playing football.
If we were to take some of these NFL players and have them have the same amount of time in MMA, there's a lot of potential for those guys to be high level MMA athletes, but the money's not there, right? So I think that's a big part of it. The heavyweight division has always been thin, and when you have that kind of knockout power and you can take guys out, then it just is what it is. You have the opportunity to get title shots by getting a couple of wins because like you're beating some of the best names in the division anyway. If you're a heavyweight and you get on a 3 or 4 fight win streak, probably 2 of those guys are in the top 10.
Another thing too, man, if you're that big, like think about this, when you're that big and you're not playing another sport, you're probably a wuss. Like most big, I would say the other word, but I don't know what the rules are here. But most guys that are that big that don't train are soft as hell. They're soft, they're wusses. And they just use their size to intimidate people so they never feel like they have to ever fight ever. So that's why we don't see a lot of heavyweights in MMA. They're soft.
So the other thing that fascinates me with Derrick, and it fascinates me with a lot of people, to be honest with you, especially people that maybe came from affluent backgrounds, and then they find themselves in MMA, and then they're like, these just bad motherfuckers that just fighting through, tooth and nail for everything. Like, God, that part doesn't make any sense to me. But, again, this is all like what I've heard. But when Derrick fought DC the first time, he kind of had the UFC bent over a barrel a little bit because of just the situation. They needed the main event. So we got this long contract that was like $1 million a fight guaranteed forever. So that's what he's been making for a long time. And I get it. Like, he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. I think everybody deserves it, but it's a shit ton of money. So for a guy that's kind of made it to the pinnacle with, like Dean said, maybe with a lesser than skill set than maybe it should have been, making a shit ton of money. He's got a bunch of businesses. He's got this beautiful family. Like, he kind of just won the game already. So it's weird for me to see him. If I was already set and I had $5-6 million in the bank and some businesses that were making money, and like, you ain't going to see me fighting anymore. Like, fuck this. I'm out. Like, I did my thing. I'm out. But he still continues to find a way to like grind after making it. And I don't know. It's always weird to me. Like, the Conor really thing is weird to me. Why the fuck would Conor fight again? You're like $400 million. Like, why would you ever fight? It doesn't make any sense to me. But
so there's a part of all of us that I think we can all understand that like we love. There's a part of us that love this, right? And you do this because of the passion. Like, that passion doesn't go away. Like, if I could, I probably still would. I like, even like to this day, I look at bare knuckle. I'm like, oh, that's wild. Like, I would never do that. But then I think back, I did that back in the day. So there's a point where I think you get old enough, and you still like it, you still want to do it, but if it's too hard, it's like, nah, I'm good. And Derrick Lewis is in a position where, like, you can go out there and I throw a couple punches at this guy, and it's like, oh, I can hit this guy, and he can't really hit me, so I'm just gonna keep going until I hit him. And then there are some times when it's like, I'm having a hard time hitting this guy, and he's hitting me sometimes, and I don't like that. I'm gonna get my $1 million, so
I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. Think about what he did. Like, is Derrick Lewis really grinding? Think about the fight in itself. Now, I don't know how much truth is to this, but it came out of his mouth. Did he fake like his eye was hurt so that the guy would come in so he could clip him? This is what I'm saying. So, like, this is this type of stuff that he's doing, and he's done it before. Like,
he said, "Oh,
yeah,
oh man,
like, oh man, whap, knockout." You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of stuff that he's doing. No one has made it that far with less. Like, that's his tactic. I believe in it though. That's the art of war. You know what I mean? Play possum, get a guy to come in. If you have that type of power, use it. But I mean, we're not going to see a complete skill set from him. But I mean, this is the type of stuff that he's doing, and he can get away with.
Yeah, the whole thing's wild. It was fun to watch. I'm
great
here
to
for
watch.
It, for sure.
I love it.
I love seeing people get knocked out.
All right, guys, before we get into this weekend's fights, I want to give a shout out to Legendz, the official sweepstakes partner of the On Paper podcast. It's 100% free to play. You make your picks, you climb the leaderboard, and win real prizes. There's no betting, no stress, just your fight IQ versus the world. Hit the link in the description. Make your picks now. Let's get into it. I think Dustin Poirier retiring is it's, at least to me, it's a really, really important thing that I wouldn't miss for the world. I think he represents kind of what MMA was when I started, at least what I looked at it. It was like a safety net. Like it was the only thing I had. I had nothing else. I had no high school diploma. I had no one that believed in me. I had absolutely nothing. And so when I look at a guy like Dustin, like he represents that journey that I felt like I was on, where, I'm young and I'm 22. I've been fighting for a couple years. I got this girlfriend who's my wife now, but she's pregnant. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to support this baby. I don't know what's going to, and you just keep pouring yourself into this game, and eventually someday it'll give something back to you. Now, I know that that's not everybody's journey. Unfortunately, a lot of people that get on that journey never make it. But I feel like Dustin maybe at times doesn't do a good enough job of telling that part of his journey. I think that that's maybe the most important part of it, is that grind before. And I know that they've told the stories a little bit before, but I feel like moving into the end of his career, I hope that he, at some point, he leans into that a little bit, because I think a lot of that would help a lot of people. And Eve, you know him as well as anybody. How connected to that part of his journey is he still?
I think he's very connected to it, but because it's his journey, it's different. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you think of yourself as famous, Anthony?
No, it's
Exactly.
weird.
But you are. There are the amount of people in the world who know your name and know why Anthony Smith's name is popular is like, that's entire countries if you put them all in one massive land, right? So,
Right.
I think that's the same thing for Dustin. It's your life, so it's just day in and day out for you. And yeah, he can recognize that he's where he's come from and where he's at now, I think, but like, I really think that's what it is. That's why he's connected to it, but he doesn't really see that as a big story for the world to see. It's just, this is what I'm going to do, and I like how he's taking advantage of it. Right, he's using it for the benefit of others. His Good Fight Foundation and the things that he's doing for his community and for communities all over the place. I think that's how he's connected to it more so than the fact that, oh my God, like, I'm a superstar. I don't think he thinks of himself as a superstar in that kind of way.
I find myself, when I'm around him, just the few times we've hung out, the couple times we worked at desk together, it's not very often. And to be fair, it's almost always MMA guys. There's someone that's either was an MMA or is it a coach or something. But I find that it's always MMA related, where I'm in a room with someone and you start to talk to them and they start to make you feel like you're not doing enough. Like I'm pretty proud. Like I worked really, really hard and I kind of pulled myself out of nothing, and I'm just continuing. I got these new things I'm doing, these businesses. I'm like, man, I'm out here just working. And then you hang out with Dustin Poirier for like 2 hours and you're like, holy shit, I'm not doing a goddamn thing.
Or you hang
I
out
need
with
to do
Dean
some
Thomas
more.
all the time, and that's how you feel.
Right. You're like, Dean's on this show. He's over here. He's traveling. Like, Dean's another one of those guys. Like, they motivate you to do more. And I feel like Dustin does that accidentally, just by the way that he lives his life. It makes me feel like I wish I would have known him longer. Maybe I'd have done more with myself. That's how I feel.
Man, when you see what Dustin has gone through, like, I haven't been there for the whole ride. Like, Dustin and I met in, like, I don't know, like 2010, maybe 2009. And I've known him well since then. And he's a kid teaching a class, lived in Lafayette, teaching a class in Baton Rouge, probably about 45 minutes away. And Tim Crater, like, hey, I got a kid up there. I'm going to get him to bring you down here, because I was in Baton Rouge working on something. And just watch Dustin come up from this kid whose girlfriend had to drive him to his first fight in her busted vehicle, to this dude who's fighting for millions of dollars, millionaire, foundations and things that he's done over the course of his career. it's a good. I've had a good perspective. I've had a good view of watching him do that and just watching him grind. And yeah, man, what you're saying is like, it's like, yeah, like a lot of people don't do that, and I don't feel like I have, and I'm doing enough every single day when I sit back and think about it. And I think really what it is just like he's been in this situation where it's like the fear and the stuff that the world puts into you, the fear of failure. Even guys like us who've had a lot of success, like, bro, think about it. Like, we're a small percentage of the world because there's a lot of guys. How many guys you see coming to the gym? I'm gonna be in the UFC one day. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna be you. Like, yeah, bro. You're probably not. You're probably not. And
unlikely.
we've done that, but there's still things that, like, I think for me especially, there's still things that I'm like, I'm nervous about. I don't want to fail. I'm tepid about stepping into this arena, and it's like I don't think Dustin has any of that. I don't think he has any of that. And maybe it's the people you put around you. Maybe it's the people who are behind you. Maybe it's the people you meet. But like, I just don't think Dustin has any of that, and that's something that, like, I wish everybody had.
See, Anthony, you talk about you don't think he leans into it enough, and he might not, right? And I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I almost feel like when I see him and I see his body of work and I just see what he represents, I feel like that story is inevitably told through his work.
Yeah.
I feel like even though he doesn't say it, I feel like the story is told through his work because, and the only thing he says about it, and he says this often, paid in full. I paid my dues in full. And to me, and I guess you kind of have to know the story to really understand what that means. So maybe I just see it a little differently because I know his journey. But that's what inspires me to work more because he talks about being paid in, like, paying in full, and I'm like, yo, I still got more to give. Dustin Poirier gave it all. I still got more to give. And when you talk about being paid, like paying it in full, like, you're right, man. Like, I don't know if there's a person who's probably put as much into the game as him, though, like that, right? In terms of being able to bounce back after like the most impressive loss that I ever thought he took was the Michael Johnson loss. Like that, to watching that was heartbreaking. Like I was like, yo, how does he bounce back from this? And he did. Like, it was nothing. No big deal. No big deal.
Yeah, the first Connor one was a tough one too.
For sure. Like, he's the guy that's supposed to do it. Oh, look at
look at, there we go.
Eve. Oh.
Yeah,
that's how you know they know they're. That's how you know they know they're cute when you start talking like, oh, they're talking about me again.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah,
that's great. Dean, what makes Dustin different in terms of his fighting? Because sometimes you get those guys, like, it's easy to see what makes O'Malley different. It's easy to see what makes Cyril Gahn different, or Alex Pereira, or Topuria. Like, those things are glaring differences that look completely different than anyone else. But Dustin is really fundamentally sound, but they're like, I obviously he has power. He's got a good enough jiu-jitsu game that he's dangerous and super safe there. He's got attacks from there. But what is it that makes him so different?
I think there's two things. One is more psychological, and then the other one is physical. Psychologically, I think it's his awareness, his ability to be cognizant of what's going on the whole time. I talked to him when we were in Miami. I talked to him about the Islam fight, and he was so aware of everything that was going on, and it was his recollection of the fight was so vivid. And I'm thinking, like, I couldn't tell you what I had for breakfast, but his recollection of what he was thinking, what was going on, what happened prior, and was so vivid that I was like, his awareness is so sharp. And you see it in fights too. Like, when they're talking to him in the corner, he's locked in. He's fully aware.
He asked how's here.
What's that?
Here? I remember him asking Mike, how's his hair? How's my hair?
Yeah. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he's so aware. But then on a physical standpoint, I think what makes him different in terms of the way he boxes is so offbeat. It's almost like he's got this weird rhythm where he'll lean in and he'll take a second and then he'll throw the punch, and he'll step through and then he'll throw the punch, and he doesn't really throw the punch until he sees the opportunity. Like, he'll look like he's about to throw it, then he'll wait and then throw it to the body. Like, it's just like this weird timing. And that's how I think he gave Max problems the first time. Max couldn't see the punches coming. He didn't know where they were going. Like, Dustin would just kind of like throw 2 punches, and then the third one will come behind it, but at a different angle and a different beat that you just can't see
Right.
coming.
His lead hook, his like right hook, is one of the most fascinating punches in the world to me. Like when I was breaking down the Benoit Saint-Denis fight when we were working that one, like, you know, the people at ESPN are like, what do you think is going to happen here? I'm like, he's got this. I was like, let's focus on this lead hook. And they're like, why the lead hook? Like, because it just looks different, and it's fascinating to me. So I like break it down. I'm watching the slow motion. It's almost like he turns to walk away and then drags this hook behind him. That's why nobody sees it
That's
coming.
my point.
It's
Like you can't see it. Like you can't detect
it's
when
weird.
coming.
Yeah.
It's and it lands. It's like in the Saint-Denis fight, it was a picture perfect example. It just looked great because of the way that he dropped him with it at the end. But it's like you just, even as an analyst watching it from the outside, like you don't see it coming. Like normally, you know, the right hand follows the left hand, the you know, the straight follows the hook, or the hook follows the straight. Like the timing is so off and so different that you couldn't possibly know that was coming. And even if you did cover for it, by the time you're like, oh, it's not coming, you go to throw a jab or something, then you eat it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Yves, when you look at this Holloway matchup with Dustin, it'd be really low hanging fruit to just say, oh, okay, well, it's probably going to go similar as it did the last time, but they're different guys. Not that I guess I'm looking for a game plan or anything, because obviously you wouldn't give us that even if you knew it, but like what sticks out? Like what's the important parts of this fight, do you think, for Dustin and for Max? Like, what do they got to change?
Well, one thing I hope they don't change is the way they approach things with their toughness, right? Because that's what made the second fight so good. The first fight was a good fight also, but you know, it ended, I think, in the second. I don't remember exactly, but Dustin with the arm triangle, armbar triangle combo. But man, what do they need to do? What they need to do? I don't think they need to do anything different. I feel like they're very evenly matched. Dustin has been the bigger guy traditionally. I think he'll probably still be the bigger guy in this one. But like what Dean is saying about his timing, is he's just off a beat. Like he's off a half a beat, and that throws your timing defensively off.
Is that natural? Is that just how he naturally is? Like he was just born like that?
That's how he moves, man. Like I said, I met him because of Tim Crater, and then he decided to come down to Austin and train. And I sparred with him for the first time, and I was like, I just felt awkward. The timing felt off, and I was like, this kid is really good. This is uncomfortable. And I just got to take him down. So I would just take him down because it was super uncomfortable to move with him. Then he learned how to wrestle, so that shit went out the window. He may mix his wrestling into this one some. But yeah, I just really think Max is going to have to. Max is tough too. I've never been in there or sparred with Max, so I don't know what his rhythm is like being in front of him. But he's done a good job with Dustin. The first time I felt like he gave Dustin enough challenge on the feet to make Dustin shoot the takedown and make the fight a grappling match. But I'm excited about it. I was also not super keen on it at first because I'm like, Dustin won 2 fights against the guy. Why would this be his last fight? But as we get closer to it, it's like, you know who Max is. You know what Max is going to bring to the table. I really can't predict, and I hate picking my friends before fights because every time I do, it almost always turns out like the way I
don't want it to
do
it then.
Yeah, well,
so I'm not picking.
Pick Max so we can use that as the headline here. Yves Edwards picks Max.
I do like Max. I am a fan of Max, but yeah, like Dustin's my boy, man. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just hard. I don't.
It is.
I think this comes down to, for me, I think this comes down to Max's ability to read the counters better. He did not do a good job in that second fight of reading the counters because Dustin had Dustin has this weird ability to, like, when you charge forward, he'll go backwards sometimes, and then you'll get comfortable thinking he's going backwards, and then as soon as you get comfortable thinking he's going backwards, he'll light your ass up. And Max didn't read that at all, and so he's got to do a better job of reading that. Then also too, since they fought the second time, Max has had some pretty memorable knockouts. And I think this comes down to Max believing in his power and sitting down on some punches as opposed to trying to volume Dustin. I think if he sits down on punches, it might make Dustin think twice. So I think this comes down to Max's ability to just have more confidence in his power and sit down on some shots.
And I think he's coming in with more confidence this time also. I mean, I know Dustin has a win over Gaethje, but Max does also. And a lot of guys don't necessarily take their comparison versus another guy against you, but a lot of guys at this level, I mean, everybody does that early, but like at this level, I don't think guys necessarily compare how they did against one guy, but I really think that gives Max a little bit of confidence going into this one. Gaethje thinking he's the better striker. He's a better striker than Dustin and winning that fight. And then Max being able to put it on Gaethje the way he did. I think Max was, if I remember correctly, I had Max up on the scorecards like 3-1 in that fight until the fifth round. So I don't know. I think Max is coming in with a lot of confidence. You also, I think sometimes when you know it's the guy's last fight, I don't think it's a good choice, a good decision against a guy like Dustin to think this is the last one. He's just going to want to get out of there. I think Dustin's going to bite down, dig in for this one. So I don't think that's a good idea to come in with that state of mind. But I think Max is coming in with a lot more confidence. He wants to be the spoiler. He's looking for the future, and Dustin is an obstacle. Like I think he's honored to be against Dustin for this one. But at the same time, it's like he's got that fighter mentality, and it's kill or be killed, and like you're at this moment you're an opponent and you're the one who has to go down. I think that's how he's approaching it, and it's the right way to do it.
For sure. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with me for a little bit. Yves, for sure, we got to get you on more often. As long as you can stand dealing with Kelly. If not, I'll fire her if I need to. But we got to get you on here more often, man. Dean, of course, I'm going to continue to drag you on here for free. I'm not paying you shit, but
That's
you're
all
going to
right.
come on and hang out with me.
Hey, you're my man, dog. You know what I'm saying? You my man. We make it work.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, hopefully, Dean, I got a little time off now before I go in for surgery, but I'll see you in Chicago for sure. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. Yves, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate the shit out of you. Thank you.
I appreciate you, my man, and keep doing what you're doing. DT, I hope to see you. Will I see you in New Orleans? Will I see either of you guys in New Orleans?
I'm going to be in New Orleans. I got a couple gigs I got to work. Hopefully I get some free time, man. We will catch up.
Definitely.
I'm not in New Orleans, but I will. I'll be watching for sure.
My man.
Thank you guys very much. You take care.
All right, man.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults aged 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco. If you're 21 or older and use nicotine or tobacco, it's time you charge ahead and join the herd with America's only credible smokeless tobacco alternative, Black Buffalo. Now available at thousands of best-in-class retailers like Wawa, Circle K, Sheetz, Love's, Pilot, Racetrack, and more. Black Buffalo was established in America in 2015 to honor the ritual and tradition of dip without the tobacco leaf or stem. Black Buffalo's long cut and pouches are made of barn-cured leafy greens that dip and feel like traditional products, all with food-grade ingredients and USP-grade nicotine. You're in good company with the Black Buffalo herd. Brand ambassadors like MMA Hall of Famer Cowboy Cerrone, professional race car driver Ryan Blaney, and country music star Larry Fleet all proudly dip Black Buffalo tobacco alternative, an American brand built on authenticity and respect. If you're looking for a real dip experience, long cut or pouches, go to blackbuffalo.com to join the herd. Use their store locator to find a retailer near you or ship products directly to you in most states. Black Buffalo tobacco alternative. The future of dip, honoring the past.
No one better to talk Dustin Poirier than Yves Edwards. Maybe Alan Jouban. I know they're buddies. They vacation together, but Yves known him since the beginning.
I know. And he has such just a great perspective. Like he dropped a couple really, I don't know, really insightful lines there. And leave it to him. He'll also always make you feel a little good about yourself. So there's a bit of that too. He makes everyone around him.
When he made that, return on investment line about you and, how the UFC got their money's worth. I thought that was a nice thing for him to say.
Yeah, I always appreciate that guy. And Dean is just fucking gold.
We're going to have to start giving him a cut.
I'm going to have to, maybe. You're lucky he can't edit and book guests. You might be out of here.
You know
Just
what?
kidding.
Listen, I love
Eve
freaking
Edwards is
matches. I
making
get to
people
shut
feel
my
good.
camera off.
I'm telling you, Eve Edwards is making people feel good. I'm bringing them down. That's
Yeah,
what we
not
do.
for nothing. All I do is say the nicest things to you and the guests, take time away from my vacation to do this podcast, and I just get shit on through and through.
Also, no one heard it, but off air, Eve did offer to give you away. He totally did.
Yeah, Anthony was like, I'll do it for $100. And he was like, I'll do it for 50. I was like, you know what?
He was ready to let you get kidnapped for $50.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like,
All right.
it's not
Well, that was
just
good.
you.
I'm glad we got them on at the same time. That was fun.
Me too. But again, you're off to Mexico in what? Just a couple days here?
Yeah. Today's Monday, so I leave on Wednesday or Friday. I gotta go get my scuba diving stuff all ready to go. You know, I'm gonna be doing some diving. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I need a little vacation. So we appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends. Yeah, and you guys have a good week. Make sure you tune in to the Dustin Poirier retirement fight. It's going to be an amazing show. I'm hoping that they kind of roll out the red carpet for him. I don't think he's going to see this, but if he does, Dustin, you're an inspiration. I appreciate you. I appreciate your journey, as well as anybody else who's ever met you or followed you at all. We support you. I love Max Holloway, but I would be lying if I said that I wasn't pulling for you to get an emphatic finish. So good luck to you, my friend, and I'll see you on the other side. To everyone else at home, we'll see you guys next week. We partner with HomaFight Picks to get you the most accurate and well-researched fight predictions. They do all the legwork so you can focus on winning. Picks will be sent directly to your phone via text or email. It's totally up to you. The second we upload them. Use code Lionheart to get 7 free days at winnable.com/HOF picks. That's WINIBLE.com/HOF picks.
With Anthony Smith.